welcome back to Uprooted. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am your host, Omotoge Adewale, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. And on this platform, we talk about all the things faith and mental health. And if you're someone who's already subscribed, who's already following, give yourself a hand clap because you're doing the thing. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, you're not following, I guarantee you by the end of this episode, you're going to want to hit that. But you can hit it now, but I'm promising you that you're going to want to hit that. Thank you so much again for joining. And today we have a very special guest who needs no introduction. This is my own personal person. I like to call her the Kike to my Toge, but I'm going to let her take it away and tell us a little bit about herself. So Kike, how are you doing today? Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm doing great. Hey, Toge to my Kike.
Hey.
Thank you for having me on here. It's a great honor to be on here. So hi everyone, my name is Kike, and I am pre-sales engineer by occupation.
Okay.
About myself, I like to do a bunch of different random things, but mostly I enjoy traveling. I enjoy trying new foods. I'm a foodie.
She is.
And I like talking to people and interacting a lot, and just building a community. So this is great. I love Uprooted.
Yeah, she's actually not even a guest. Like, this is one of my day one supporters. When you call, well, I think there's someone that calls them repeat offenders that is always following, always listening to episodes. She's been supporting since day one. So yeah, she's a guest on this particular episode, but she's not a guest to the Uprooted community. So thank you so much, Kike, for being here today. Really appreciate it. And there's something you said in your introduction just about like how you love talking to people. It sounds like you value like community and connection. And that's so important when we're talking about mental wellness and mental health, which, as you know, that's what this platform is about. So for you, Kike, can you tell us a little bit about just like your mental wellness journey so far?
It has definitely been a journey, being like the major word. Mental wellness is highly. It wasn't something that I really took seriously initially. As I got older, though, certain experiences happen that make you sort of make mental wellness a priority.
Yeah.
And talking to people, that has really helped. So my journey, it has been me becoming more aware of what mental health really is, and then implementing things that aid me in achieving a healthy mental state.
Yes. And it's so hard, like you said, it's hard when we haven't like grown up in that way, because you were saying that it's been a journey, meaning that it wasn't something that just didn't come natural. And I think for a lot of us, it's been like a journey.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like, what does mental wellness like for you? If you could describe it in like one word, like what would you say mental wellness means to you?
That's a good question. It would be being in a state of joy.
Ooh, yes, I like that.
Yeah, no, because the other day I was praying, and I was talking to God, and I have this conversations with God every time, like, hey, God, it's your daughter here, your favorite one,
Hey, we're all his favorites.
I know, but you talk to God about your own status, okay? But for me, it's God's favorite one right here. And I told him, and I said, I really want to be in a place where I feel complete, absolute joy, irrespective of what's going on in my life.
Yes.
And for me, that's being in a healthy mental state.
Yeah.
Life is full of ups and downs. I read somewhere life is ebbs and flows. It's like things happen, and you get to these peaks, and then you get to these valleys. And but through it all, if you can have constant joy,
yes,
I believe that is like the highlight of mental health.
Yeah. And let me tell y'all, this lady right here, she exudes joy. Like,
oh, thank you.
I mean, you can probably see on the camera right now. Like,
oh, now I'm blushing.
like, she has the biggest smile. She fills the room up with warmth. And I really like how you put that of like, no matter what's going on around us, right? We can't control that, right? It's kind of like that analogy of you can't really control the storm. You can't control what's happening around the boat. Like thinking about life as the boat and then circumstances of life as the storm. We can't control what happens. We can't control what's going on around, but we can control what's happening within us. And I think sometimes people think that having joy means that you're constantly happy all the time.
Right.
You're like positive vibes only, right? And when I think of joy, I think of a state of contentment.
Exactly.
Right? That no matter what's going on in my life, I have contentment, right? I might have some down days, some up days, but as far as when I look at my life in general, right, like you're saying, that's what mental wellness means to you, just having that joy. And it doesn't mean that things are always going to go your way,
Right.
or you're always going to be happy, right? I think it's a state of being, right? It's just like, I kind of see it as like, you just kind of sitting in that,
place.
And also joy is a fruit of the spirit, right?
It is.
So it never said that, you know, we won't have challenges and things like that. So I really, really love how you put that.
Right.
And that's one thing about Kike. Like, she is someone who really finds ways to empower people, right? And really share from her experiences and her story. And I'm saying that because, you know, she has a platform. She has her blog, and she has, you know, her following that's growing. And if you don't follow her blog or read her blog right now, like I said, you're gonna want to do it by the end of this conversation, okay? And for you, Kike, can you tell us a little bit about what inspired like your platform and I want to call it a brand. It's a brand, y'all. It's a brand. What would you say inspired that for you?
What inspired me? Pretty much me wanting to be somebody that I wish I had when, you know, I was going through certain different phases in life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I didn't have, I can't say that I didn't have, or I don't have mentors or people that I look up to or people that inspire me. But there are certain things that I wish, you know, somebody told me, or certain things that maybe I wish somebody told me that those things in a different way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there are times when you say something and the way it comes across isn't necessarily the way that hits you or gets to you, or like what word am I thinking of?
Yeah, like I think what you're saying is like sometimes people have a message to pass across, but tell me if I'm wrong, but the way that the other person is receiving it is not the way that
it's being communicated.
Across. Right. So they're receiving it differently. Exactly. Like I'm thinking of like parents, for example. Like sometimes parents have something they're trying to communicate to their kids.
Right.
But the route in which they're doing it is landing differently for the kid, and the kid ends up not feeling heard or not feeling validated.
Exactly.
But that might not be the intention of the parent, but the parent doesn't know how to. So that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. So I wanted to be that person, or I want to be that person. And you know, my platform is targeted mainly towards women. However, I believe everyone can benefit from it. There's so many women out there who are, you know, doing one thing or the other, but they don't believe enough in themselves or in their potential. So, you know, we're sitting and we're doing these things, we're not even making moves. And I want to be that voice that tells that person, hey, it's okay. You know, you got this.
And she's that voice.
You know, you're powerful. You can take Uprooted and take it to the next level.
I receive it.
You know, we can be a whole TV show.
Okay.
I want to be that person, that voice in your head. And, you know, I would be that fire and that light and that, you know, I'll be like, okay, how about, you know, we achieve 2,000 followers. But then, you know, the way I want to be the person that, the way I would let you know, it wouldn't be intimidating to you. and maybe I would go and like a few of your pictures without you knowing. And maybe I can tell like 5 or 6 people, hey, go follow Toke. But you wouldn't know that, I'm doing that behind the scenes. I want to be that person that encourages women and lifts them up and lets them know that whatever it is that they want to achieve, they can be absolute beasts at it.
Okay.
They can, achieve it and kill it and do whatever they have to do. If you want to be a babysitter, be the boss of all babysitters. You want to be a cleaner? Heck, clean all the houses you want to clean and be a boss at it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you want to do. If you want to sit at home, sit at home and be the boss of it. Don't sit at home, women, because you have more potential than that. But whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that your purpose is, that God has placed in your heart, go ahead and do that and be the absolute best at it. That's my goal. And that's, I want to make sure that women all over the world have a voice that they're hearing that's telling them to do all these things.
Yes, I love that. Thrive in the place that you are. Thrive with what you are doing. Right. Exactly. And I can literally like feel your passion for this. Like it's like seeping through you. So I want to ask you, like, where did this passion come from? Do you have like a personal experience, personal story connected to like, because it's easy to just say like, yeah, I want to empower people. I want to empower women, right? But people that really are passionate about things like this, like the way that you are, typically, it's coming from a very like personal place, right? So for you, like, where is this passion coming from?
It's they're personal stories, and I wouldn't really go into details. But I've seen a lot of women in my life where for a long time they didn't really tap into their greatest potential. And at the time that they did, I wouldn't say it was too late, because it's never too late. But I feel like if they had done it earlier or sooner, where they are right now they would be way bigger than where they are right now. And as an individual, personally speaking, I also used to rely on people a lot. And I did a lot of what people wanted me to do.
People pleaser.
People pleaser. Exactly. It was almost like I always sought some sort of validation from people in order to do something or to move forward. Until some point in my life where I reached a block, and I had to sit down and think. And I told myself, Kike, if you keep listening to people, you're not gonna do you. You're not gonna be happy. You're not gonna achieve what God has really planned out for your life. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't listen to advice or reach out to people. We don't know it all.
No.
Right?
No.
So I had to sit down and think about what I really wanted for myself and what's God's plan for my life. And that really motivated me to sort of work hard. And my first job that I got, that I really wanted, I had to like get into the works of it and really apply and apply and apply and apply until I got heard. And until I got seen, and until God really provided that job for me. So I want to it's just I want to be that person, from the people that I've seen in my lives and my own personal story. I want to be that voice that motivates other people to get up.
To get up and do it, and not continue to wait. For that validation, like you were saying, from other people. And a lot of us get stuck in that. And sometimes that doesn't help our mental health, right? When we're constantly, and that comes from different places, right? Sometimes, depending on like our upbringing or our environment, right, it can impact our level of like seeking outside validation, because we're so unsure of ourselves. right? We're so unsure of making that move because of like that self-doubt and, you know, sometimes that anxiety to like take that step. So it's really important to be empowered. Yes. So like, what would you say is the place of mental wellness when it comes to, you know, women being empowered, right? We're talking about, you know, just how important that is for you. You know, and she, like I said, she has her blog, y'all, and she's a great storyteller. And just the information and how you like tie like life experiences to like faith is just really powerful, and how you have like that tough love. Like you said, get up and do. You saw her hand. Yep. What would you say? What would you say is the place of mental wellness when it comes to women being empowered?
Ooh, okay. Mental wellness when it comes to women being empowered. Okay. When you're doing what God has really placed in your heart to do, your purpose, you have a reason to live. You have something that wakes you up every single day, right? And when you're up every single day and you're moving and doing things and achieving, and no matter what the thing, that the obstacle that may come your way, it's not really going to affect your how okay, for lack of better words, right? When you're doing what God has placed you in your heart to do, irrespective of the obstacle that happens, that comes your way, right? You see that joy that we talked about previously? That joy would always be there. Yeah. It's something that, and I'm doing this because I feel like joy comes from deep within, right? So whether, you know, let's say you're a musician, if maybe you didn't get a gig today, but you know that this is something, you know deep in your heart that this is something that God has willed for you to do. You can sing, you can blow, you know, you get into a room and you command that room with your voice. No matter what happens, right, that joy is always going to remain. And it's not something that anybody else can control, anybody outside of you can control. It's because it's God given and it's from within, right? Your mental state is kind of tied to that. So no matter what happens, whatever the external factor is, you're still going to be in a state where you feel that joy, right? And because joy is not, like you were saying, happiness. What was it you said about happiness?
Like happiness isn't joy, right?
Right, happiness isn't joy. Everybody has happy days and everybody has sad days. But when you have joy, right, no matter what's going on, it would always be like there, right? Yeah, that's pretty much.
So what would you say, like, what is the importance of mental wellness, like for women being empowered? Like, how important is it? Like, is it important at all to, like, you know?
Oh yeah,
be mentally stable?
Oh yeah, you have to be. First of all, you have to be mentally like healthy, in order for you to even be empowered at all.
Yes,
you have to before you can even achieve and fulfill that purpose. Because if you're going around carrying a sad face everywhere, whenever you have to do what God has really placed in your heart to do, you're not going to do it. And even if you do it, you're not going to do it well. You're not going to maximize that potential, that thing that, you know, the ability to do what you have to do. You're not, because you're carrying a sad face around. And it doesn't mean that we don't have sad faces, sad days, like we said before. But even in those sad days, you know that, you know,
it's bigger than
still
this.
it's bigger than you, right? So you're still encouraged to get up and do what you have to do. That's pretty much it. Yes, you do need to be mentally in a mentally healthy place, to be empowered. And then after that, that's when the empowerment comes in, right? Be happy, be healthy, and then you can be empowered, right? If you're not even content, there's
and I would also add that like taking care of, you know, I know we're speaking like we're saying women empowered, but if you're a man listening to this, you know, you can also be empowered. But I also think, on a side note, like enough talk isn't spoken about for like men's like self-care and things like that. But I think even doing that is empowering, right? Because I know you said that like taking care of yourself and doing what you have to do, and then you can be empowered. I think even taking, like, to kind of add to what you're saying, add some to it. Taking that step to prioritize your mental wellness is empowerment, right? Because I think in a conversation that we had prior to this recording, you were kind of talking about that, you know, you have to take care of your emotional well-being, your physical body, right? To be in like that in itself is being empowered. Is being empowered, because you're taking charge of that. Right.
Exactly. I mean, if let's say, for example, if you've been home, for example, okay, so the whole year of 2020, everything that happened, right? A lot of people were home and just not doing anything, and many people were extremely sad, and a bunch of us, myself included, let a bunch of things slide. And I'll give you an example. So prior to 2020, December 2019, I ran a 5K. And I was moving and exercising and prioritizing, you know, my health. I was eating better. I had this glow, you know.
You kind of still do.
Go ahead now. And then 2020 happened. And it was just us being home and not moving a lot. And, you know, and for me, it was like, to even get out of bed some days was hard because I wasn't prioritizing myself. So now it's 2021 and the world is opening back up. And I tried to run the other day. And I was like,
oh man,
I ran 2 minutes.
That's somebody that ran a 5K, y'all.
No way, not doing this right now. And so I have to go back. If I want to be able to be in that state where I'm able to run a 5K again, I have to start. It starts here first, right? It's mental. And then I have to start pushing myself and doing it, right? And we trained for a while together as well. But it's a lot of mental work. And I think I'm digressing here, but
no, I think you actually make a good point. We can actually use that as an analogy, that like self-care and self-empowerment is a muscle.
It is.
It's a muscle, right? So meaning that you have to keep doing and doing and doing and doing to get stronger and stronger and better, right? And sometimes that does happen. Life happens. And we kind of slack on our self-care. We slack, you know, on, you know, just caring for ourselves. And then when we try to get back into the momentum of it, you know, it might be like, you know, running for just 2 minutes. Because we've kind of left that place, right? I think it's actually a great analogy. It's a muscle, and we have, like I said, we have to keep doing. And sometimes I feel like we wait for self-care. We wait to care for ourselves when we are like burnt out. That's when we notice that, oh wait, I haven't been doing what I was supposed to do, or wait, I noticed that I haven't been eating well like I told myself I would, or I haven't been exercising, or I haven't been taking time away, right? I think that happened to me recently, right? Where I was like, oh wait, I haven't really like taken much, just been like work, and then weekend I'm doing other type of work, and then go back to work. So I haven't really taken much time like for myself. And it showed because I think last weekend, I noticed that after work on Friday, my back was hurting so bad. like my entire back. When we went to the nail shop, remember how I turned on
the massager
because my back was, and I feel like for me, once my body starts to feel tired, even though I've gotten sleep, that's when I know that I'm running low, right? And it's not at that point that I should have waited to like engage in self-care.
Right.
Like self-care should be part of our routine.
Exactly.
Just like how we eat and drink water and sleep, like self-care should be integrated into that. And we can't wait until, we're burnt out.
Right. Somebody was telling me the other day that, the person told me they were trying to encourage me to drink more water at that point. And now I love water, but at that point they were telling me that if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Oh. So you shouldn't wait until you're thirsty to drink water.
And you shouldn't wait till you're burnt out to engage in self-care.
There we go.
That's a good example. That's a great example. And, speaking of self-care and speaking of like specifically empowerment.
Yeah.
One of like your recent blogs,
oh God,
you talked about, I have to bring this up because now that we're talking about empowerment, I have to bring it up.
Okay.
She has a recent blog. I don't know when this episode is going to air. Just, we're family. We're talking here, right? I don't know when this episode is going to air, but either way, you should listen. You should watch her. You should read her blog, right? Yeah, so in your blog, you were talking about kind of like wanting to step out of your comfort zone, come out of your shell,
right?
And attend an event. And like I said, y'all, she's a great storyteller. So she literally painted the picture for us, like how she was like sitting in her car, she was freaking out. She called her sister. Sister kind of gave her like a pep talk. And I think in those moments, right, that we have those moments of like, uncertainty, that self-doubt. And then we're able to like talk ourselves through it, right? Because courage isn't in the absence of fear, right? People always think that people always think that when we say, oh, that person's courageous, they're brave. They even like you, like Kike walks like this, y'all. She has her shoulders back, her head up. And when you see her, like, yes, that's a boss.
Oh my God.
But it also doesn't mean, and I think for me, I appreciated that blog post because I think even me as your friend, like sometimes I see like, yes, Kike got it together. Like she's always confident.
No.
And it doesn't mean that she doesn't have it together, but it also means that she has moments, right? Where she's sitting in her car, like you were saying, crying because she's nervous about entering this, this event. And I think it's in those moments that we find that true like empowerment, right? When we're able to get ourselves past the fear, right? And still show up courageous, even though we're freaking out inside.
Right.
So can you tell us, like, I just want you to shed a little bit more light about that specific situation and like, just how have you noticed yourself grow since that time or anything you've seen like changing yourself? Just please. Because that was a good blog post, y'all.
Okay. So that blog was absolutely personal, and before I put it out, it took me over a month to decide whether or not I really wanted to be as vulnerable as that, to the outside world, because like you said, right from when I was little, from high school and all, I've been pretty much trained to carry myself a certain way. And no matter what's going on internally, you never let it show. And that's that paints a false picture to the outside world, because then they think that you have it together. You never drop any balls, and you're never nervous. But we're all human beings, and we all have moments, and even President Obama,
come on,
no matter how like outspoken or confident he seems, I'm pretty sure he's had moments where he walked into his closet and took deep breaths. Before this conversation, I had to breathe deeply and be like, okay, we have this, right? So that period, it was really, really personal, but I wanted to share that story to let people out there know that no matter how much you seem to have it together, it's okay
Yes.
to have certain moments where it's not okay, right? And also to know that no matter what the situation is, once you set your mind to do something, and it's something that's gonna enhance your growth, you should still go through with it. If you have to call a friend or call, in my case, my sister, do that. But make sure that you achieve that level of growth and still cross that hurdle.
Push past the fear.
Push past the fear, exactly. Because that's the only way growth can happen. That's the only way. If we keep sitting back and you know, just hiding in our comfort zone, right? You're never gonna grow. You're never gonna achieve. Like, you know, there's this thing about elastic bands, right? There's a thing. I did physics engineer here. There's something called an elastic limit. And that's the point where you pass the elasticity of the elastic band. Or not the pass, but that point, the breaking point, right? And if you keep staying within the width of the elastic band, it's just gonna be there. But if you push past it, you see that you stretch it, right? It becomes so wide, and it can hold more things. You can tie your hair in like 3-4 knots if you use an elastic, a widened band. So if we keep staying in that little corner, in that post, right? I have the same group of friends, and I love my friends so much, but my days became work, church, home, grocery shopping, work,
maybe a trip to Target.
Maybe. I mean, and you know, I love my family and my friends, but I wanted to see what else is out there, right? What else? Who are people talking to? All these people that are achieving great things. I mean, heck, there are CEOs my age. Who are they talking to, and what are they doing? How are they mingling and networking? I wanted to see that. And so I needed to take a step outside of my regular schedule and really go out there and see what they're doing and how they're doing it. And that day, I really saw it. But before I tell you, before I got out of my car, it felt like the worst time of my life. Because, first of all, my insecurity set in. It's like, oh, at that point, I wasn't even a pre-sales engineer yet. It's like, what have you achieved? You know, those little voices, they're not gonna like you. You don't even know anybody there, right? Like, what are you gonna talk about? Are your words even gonna be valid to them? It's like, also, being a people pleaser, I really wanted them to sort of like me. Right? And, you know, I have a group of friends and I love them and they love me. And, you know, when I'm there, I'm comfortable and I can't stop talking. But then with these people, I'm like, they don't know me. What are they going to think of me? And so it took a lot of work. And even after talking to my sister about it, I still had to take that step, right? Because I could have talked to my sister and then stayed in my car for like another hour and then driven back home. And no one would have known that I didn't go into the event, right? But just taking that extra step, even after talking to someone, to, you know, that in itself is empowering. I'm telling myself, I had to talk myself all the way to the door of the event. Okay, Kike, you got this. You can do this. They're all your age mates. Come on. What do they have that you don't have? Okay, sure. Yeah. You're not a director yet, but at some point you will be.
Yes, there you go.
You're Nigerian.
And I bet you Kike still walked in there like this. even though she probably had all those thoughts in her head. And I did. She still walked in there like this.
And I did. I kid you not, because also there's this thing called faking it till you make it. You also don't want them to think that, oh, you're so shy, and, you know, because then at that point no one would really be motivated to come up to you and talk to you. But you fake that thing, right?
I hope y'all are taking notes. This is like tips for like networking, right? So we do everything here. So you get tips for networking.
You walk in there,
Mhm.
and one thing I told myself,
Mhm.
walking into those doors, I told myself I'm gonna be the best version of myself
Come on.
as I walk in there. And my best version may not necessarily be the best on the same level as
Mhm.
some of the people
Yeah.
in there, because
Yeah.
obviously in this world there's always going to be someone smarter. There's always going to be someone prettier. There's always going to be someone that's more achieved than you are. So even though you may not be on that same level, but on your level, you want to be the best of that you've ever been. So yes, I walked in there saying, Kike, you're gonna do this. But I made sure that as I entered, I was still my best self. So I walked in and it was a fake smile, but that smile was big. You know what I mean? And I walked up to the bar and the bartender was like, hey, what do you want? And I gave him a nice big smile. He was kind of cute too, so that helped. So, but I gave him a big smile, asked for a drink, and, sat up and looked around. And so, just knowing and going in there as the best version of myself, whatever conversation I was having, even though I didn't really talk much, but the times that I talked, I made sure that it was worth it. And just smiling and being, personable, or trying to be personable, despite the way I was feeling internally. So that in itself, is just getting myself out of that comfort zone. How am I doing now? I still get nervous. To be honest.
She's honest.
To be honest, I still definitely get nervous when I have to talk. And every now and then I would MC an event, and beforehand, I would go into the bathroom and do the same thing. Talk myself, okay, you got this. Aww. You're gonna be funny, and they're gonna like you.
And she's good, y'all. She's good at it.
But then I come out there and I'm like, hey, everyone, and everyone's like, oh, you're so personable. It took work.
Yeah, but you are personable, and I think sometimes we wait until, how do I put this? Sometimes we think that we need to wait to get to where we're trying to go, and then somehow we'll magically get there.
No.
We get there through baby steps.
Exactly.
And that's the thing with like empowerment. And the whole time you were sharing this, I thought of, this is healing. That's exactly what healing is, right? That healing journey, that mental wellness journey, right? Even though you're falling apart inside, like still trying to show up as your best self, and then giving yourself grace, right? Because even if all Kike was able to do that day was, she got there and she was only able to sit in the car, and she wasn't able to come out of the car, if she can give herself grace and say, you know what, maybe I'll try again next week
time,
or the next event, right? So giving ourselves grace and recognizing that we can't wait to magically show up as healed, or show up as having less anxiety, or show up as having less self-doubt.
Right.
Like, you literally have to push through that, right? There's a quote that says the only way out is through, right? So the only way out of things that we go through is to go through it, right? So I think that's such an important message, or tip, or just everything you just talked about, right? It's so connected to just our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, and really prioritizing that, and just the word of empowerment. Right? We can be empowered right where we are, as we are, show up as our best selves, and just recognizing that we are enough.
Yes, exactly.
As we are, right? As we are.
And I'm glad you said that, because everybody talks about women empowerment and rah rah, go get it. And yes, that's great. But as an individual, you need to know yourself deep within for any of that sort of go get them talk to take effect. So you can only be empowerment is literally like watering a plant. So the seed should already exist. The plant should already sort of be there, and then you have empowerment to water it and help it grow. Right? It's not something that, if you can read all the books in the world, and if you don't have the actual seed, nothing's gonna happen. You're just gonna be reading. You're not gonna be able to apply it. So give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Definitely. And know that every little step counts.
Every little step.
Every step.
Every little step.
No matter how tiny it is, right? Like my story, just me even driving to the place.
Come on, even driving. Even dressing up.
Right. That's a step.
Yeah.
If you want to achieve a goal of like working out, maybe losing 20 pounds or whatever, just putting on your gym clothes or your workout clothes is, I mean, that's not enough. Go work out.
Yeah. Here she goes with that self-love. I told y'all.
But still, you know, giving yourself grace, putting on the clothes and saying, okay, I look good in this right now, but I'm going to take that step and go for a 5-minute walk. You have to have that inner motivation to at least take that step first and then be empowered to do even more.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think also just to add to that, like, as we are, like I was saying, like who you are, you know, is enough to take that step, to do that thing that you're trying to do. And you were talking about a seed, the seed. And I think internally, like we were talking about before, like I think that seed is your internal security. Right. With yourself. That's what I was trying to say. My brain was going all over the place just now, y'all. But it's how you're feeling internally, how, your security with yourself internally. That's the seed, because we constantly look for outside validation, right? Outside reassurance, and internally we're empty. Right? There's a void. Ooh. And like you said, reading all the books, attending all the whatever. Yeah. I don't know, whatever else you're trying to do. It's like you're pouring water into something that has holes.
Basket,
or into a basket. Right? It's not gonna
hold
enter, it's not gonna hold it. So there has to be something there. And I think for some of us that, you know, are people of faith, that comes from God. But if you're listening, whatever that is for you, right? You need a container, a containment, you know, to hold all of those things that you're trying to pour into yourself, to empower yourself, to better your mental wellness, right? You have to be secure within yourself.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
This has been such, didn't I tell y'all? This has been such a good conversation. So again, if you're getting towards the end now, this is Kike, okay? If you're not following her again by the end of this, just ask yourself, like, what am I doing with my life? Okay, you follow her, you read her blog. And Kike, one last question that I ask everyone, just, you all know this, I really value personal testimonies, personal journeys, because like I said, we see people, you know, even me being Kike's friend, right? I didn't know any of those things that she talked about in her blog, and like how she sometimes feel, you know, insecure and like trying to build up courage to do something, because to me, she looks like she got it together, right? And that's the reason that I value like personal testimonies and people's personal journeys, because you don't know somebody just from looking at them externally. Right. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what has been added to their lives and the things that you can take from them. There's just so much value in hearing people's personal testimonies and journey. And a question I ask everyone that comes on is, what is one word to describe your personal testimony or journey, and why?
It would be growth.
Ooh.
Yeah, growth, definitely, because in every single place that I've been in my life, I look at it, it comes from a place of growth. So even the negative things that happen, because you know, life happens. Yeah. Instead of letting it weigh me down completely, I think about it as an opportunity to grow. Every single, you know, heartbreak and job loss and whatever it is, right? What is it in this season that I need to learn to help me grow and be better in the next season that I'm trying to get to? So, you know, if it's like, maybe there was an exam that I didn't do wrong. Well, what did I do wrong to let me not pass this exam? Okay, did I need to study better? Did I need to not hang out as much as I used to? And I know now to do it differently in the next phase or wherever I'm going to. So it would be growth. Every single thing that I have done so far is an opportunity to grow for me.
Wow. Look at how she just put that and just tied a little bow on top. That is so important, right?
Yeah.
Every phase in life, everything that we go through in life is an opportunity for growth.
Yes.
That is so beautiful. Again, I'm overwhelmed by this episode. This has been so good. So many gems were dropped, from how to network to, how to be empowered. Just so many gems. So thank you so much, Kike, for blessing and gracing this amazing platform, this community of folks that we are building. I really, really, really appreciate it. Can you tell everyone where to find you on social media?
Before that, I just want to say that Toke to my Kike, she's amazing, and I'm so proud of you for doing this from the very first Instagram live that you did to taking it to podcasts, actually creating an actual Instagram page, and then now doing this and doing videos.
Yo, we talking about courage. I'm inside right now. I'm nervous.
I'm so proud of you, and I really, really pray that this just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger.
Amen.
And where you can find me. Well, my website blog is.
It's not this. It's not this. It's a website and a blog. Okay. Period. Go ahead.
It's my name. So Kikeoshinoiki.com.
Can you spell Oshinoiki? Because some people out there might not know how to spell that very strong Yoruba name. So why don't you spell it out for us?
Okay. Yeah. So it's KikeOshinoiki.com.
Yes, I'll also link it in the description of this video, by the way.
Right. It's really long, but gotta represent.
Yes. So that's her website, and it has her blog and everything.
Right.
And then anything on Instagram?
Instagram, you can find me at Kike Oshinoiki as well. And then Facebook, which I don't really use that often, but you can still find me at Kike Oshinoiki. I'm Kike Oshinoiki everywhere, wherever you look.
Kike Oshinoiki,
that's it.
That's it, period. Again, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode, tuning into this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until we meet again, continue to be well, do well, and live well. Hey community, thank you so much for tuning into the episode today. I know that you got something out of it, so don't forget to leave all your comments, questions, and reflections from the episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe as we continue to build this community together. And also turn on your notifications so that you know when every episode drops. Thank you all so much again, and until we meet again, continue to be well, do well, and live well.